Wednesday will mark a big day for this UCF football program. It's National Signing Day, February 3rd. A lot of big names going to be coming in for this UCF program. We've talked about Jeffrey Godfrey, Joshua Reese, a lot of those Miami Central guys. But Will, coming up next fall, who's your guy from this class? They haven't officially signed yet, but who's your guy that UC can have the most impact?
That can have the most impact, I definitely think it's Godfrey. And I think one of the big storylines heading into these spring practices is whether or not Blake Bortles and Jeff Godfrey, battle it out for the right to be the number one quarterback. And I think that's definitely going to be something interesting to see.
Yeah, I think for me, you talk about those Central guys, they're really the names. And we'll talk a little bit later about some guys that could possibly sign on the deadline for UCF. But I think Joshua Reese is going to be my guy, the 6'1" wide receiver. Makes plays with his feet, with his hands. That's the one thing that UCF has been missing in the past couple of years is a really big playmaking wide receiver. I think he's going to be a guy that if he could step in, make those plays, make the catches, make some receptions for whoever's going to be quarterback for UCF, I think that's going to be really big for them come next fall. Another guy, you talk about some big surprises in this class. Who do you see as next season that you're going to go, wow, this guy surprised me. I didn't think he was going to be this good.
Wow, that's a tough question. And I think Brandon Gaynor is going to be that guy. And, we're cutting to it a little, right away about, some of the guys that still are possibilities for UCF. And if this is a kid, 4-star, running back, I think he could just blow some people's socks off. I think, he could have the potential to be like that Kevin Smith kind of guy, to have enough of an impact to turn UCF into a dominant Conference USA team right away.
Well, I think for me, you got to look at the wide receiver Cornelius Whitehead, who's coming in here. I watched his highlight tape today, and this kid's fast. He played quarterback in high school, running back, and wide receiver, and just blew up people all over the field. Really looked like Reggie Bush in his highlight videos, just getting past people. So I think he's going to have a real impact with his speed because, again, UCF really needs help on their special teams and return game. We saw some flashes of it last year, but I think this kid can be really essential in that return game when you're returning punts, returning kicks, and also need a guy like A.J. Guyton you saw this year out of the slot. You can use Cornelius Whitehead as a slot receiver to get some speed on the field for your offense. When you look at some more guys, who will have the most immediate impact for this team of the guys right now that have committed verbally for UCF?
Of the guys right now, I really think it's going to be some of the offensive linemen that they're bringing in. The McCrary twins. McCray. Oh gosh, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. The McCray twins will have. I think they'll be able to be plugged in right away. Two very big kids. 6'3", almost 300 pounds. I definitely think they'll be ready to play. They have the size. They have the ability. And, UCF is losing some offensive linemen this year, so I think there'll be some guys who will be able to step right in right away and not be able to see too much of a difference with them being in there.
And I think those are some guys you highlight, but I think the Miami Central crew is going to be really the guys that UC have the most impact. You talk about Godfrey coming in at quarterback. He's going to push a lot for that quarterback competition. Blake Bortles is another guy. Keep him in mind. This is a guy from Oviedo High School, a 6'4" quarterback, listed 6'4", 6'5" other places, but he's a prototypical type of quarterback that you want. He's strong, he's tall, he's accurate, he gets the ball out quickly, and there was rumors that now with Godfrey committing that he could possibly go over and accept an invitation to play at Marshall or different places like that, but he's decided to stay committed to UCF where he had been committed all season long, and I think that's going to be a really impactful guy, but watch out for those Central crew. You talk about Jamar McClain, the cornerback. Can he have a Kamal Ishmael type impact? If Gaynor comes, we'll talk about that as well. Can he have that kind of impact? Joshua Reese, I touched on earlier. Can he have that kind of impact? So I think you're going to see Blake Bortles and the Miami Central guys be essential to that. And the last thing, Will, there's, again, signing date, February 3rd. It's not official yet. Guys have not signed on the dotted lines. But who do you see? Here's some names being thrown around that could possibly sign with the night slate that could be impacted.
Brandon, back to the Brandon Gaynor thing. With his other teammates from high school coming in, I can't see why he wouldn't want to come along with those guys. Having played with Godfrey and with Reese, I would really imagine them all coming together. Reese and obviously Godfrey's already here. I just couldn't see why he would go anywhere else if he didn't want to be a part of what they want to be a part of. Another guy that we've heard about is Jose. I think he was been rumored to play to go to USF. That would be a funny story in and of itself for UCF to keep stealing all these guys who are going to USF. So for UCF fans, I'm sure they're happy about that.
Yeah, I think Jose is a good name you got to keep, and that's not a mispronunciation there. His name's Jose. To keep an eye on him at that offensive line position, because he's a 3-star offensive lineman, and he's big, and he can really provide some beef up the middle with this new run game that they've found with Bryn Harvey and Jonathan Davis. I think another guy, you should look at Akins, the wide receiver from Georgia. Mm-hmm. He's a speedy guy that he's between Georgia Tech. He's got some really good guys on that offers list, but he's still considering UCF. It's going to be a test to see if he wants to come over here, like Quentin Brown did, to come to UCF from Georgia. But again, you look for some of these guys. Brandon Gaynor, if this team is able to get those two guys remaining from Central and Gaynor and Jose, I mean, you might as well just name this team the Miami Central Knights. I mean, that's kind of what they're going to be, that Miami Central talent. Well, again, National Signing Day is going to be February 3rd. You can check out our coverage. Follow us on Twitter, TSRUCF and CFF Sports. We will have updates for you on who signs and where they're going to be, if they're going to be in Orlando next season. For Will Perry and Ryan Bass, thanks for tuning in to the Central Florida Future.